What's going on, guys? Back with another video. I know it's been a while since the last upload. I figure I'd give a little update video about what's been going on. In the garage with the good old 2-valve. Not sure if I showed under the hood yet on the channel. Basic rundown on what's done here for anyone who hasn't seen my last video. It's just got a P1SC head unit. It's got a 3-core race intercooler from ProCharger, the big one. It's got a big red blow-off valve, and it's also got a Pro MF on the setup here. Around 8 to 9 pounds. It made 405 to the tire. So anyway, since my last video, I talked about getting a new transmission for the car. I ended up going with the new TKX from Tremec, along with the QuickTime bell housing. For some of you that know, with the QuickTime bell housing, they suggest you measure the run out, make sure everything's properly aligned. I got in contact with someone from American Powertrain, and they told me that usually with these modular engines, you don't have to. They're usually within spec. So I didn't have to buy those offset dowels. So me and a couple buddies got together, put the transmission in the car. And for some of you guys that know me out there, this car has been through a lot of transmissions. So it's kind of a big moment for me. I'm all fired up after we got it in. I took it outside, down the street. Feels good, shifting to second gear. It's nice and buttery smooth. Go to third, everything's feeling great. Next thing you know, it pops out of third gear. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe I didn't put it in all the way. So I throw it back in third gear, driving down the street, pops out again. So now the car is just constantly popping out of third gear after I just got this new transmission in the car. So I'm thinking in my head, oh man, maybe it's something with that run out. So I got the car back in here, ripped it all apart, got the measurements on the run out on the bell housing, and it is within spec. So that's all fine. So now I know it's something to do with the transmission. So I take pictures of everything. I get in contact with Tremec, and they said no problem, ship it out to us and we'll check it out and see what's going on. So a few weeks go by, they get back to me, I get the transmission back, and they ended up putting a third gear synchro in it. So get the transmission back here, and now me and a few of my buddies, we planned a trip to Cruise in OC, which is a great show. Highly recommend anybody to go to that show. It's a blast. So I was hoping to have this car done for that show. So got that transmission back with the new third gear synchro, put it in the car, and what do you know? It's doing the same exact thing. It keeps popping out of third gear. So I said, screw it. I'm gonna bring the car down to the show. I think it was a few days after I got that transmission back. I said, screw it, I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna have a good time, just cruise it and enjoy the weekend. So that's what I did, and I said I'd figure it out when I get back. So when I got back, I ripped the transmission back out again and shipped it back out to Tremec. At this point, this transmission's been out of the car multiple times, and I told them, I said, hey, like, I'll pay the difference for a Magnum or just give me a new TKX. So another few weeks go by, and they ended up sending me another TKX, a whole different unit. So I put that transmission in this car, and it's been great ever since. Shifts like butter, power shifts great, takes the shifts good. So for any of you looking for a nice 5-speed upgrade, I highly suggest one of these. It's a reasonable price, and shout out to Tremec. I mean, I kind of went through a shit show, but they did make everything right, so I can't complain. I mean, I think I bought that transmission in maybe March, and this was all resolved by the end of June. So I was down for a little bit. I was down out of the spring time of the season, which is a nice time. But now that the car's all together, I've been trying to enjoy it and enjoy the nice weather of the summer and put miles in the car. And another funny thing about that whole ordeal was that when I first got the first TKX, I bought a new Ford Performance throwout bearing. And I put it in the car, and I want to say I think probably had maybe, I don't know, under 100 miles on it. And it started squealing and making all kinds of noises. So I said, all right, now I got to get another throwout bearing. Hopped in LMR, grabbed another Ford Performance one, and put it in the car. And I swear to God, I think 2 miles down the street, this thing's squealing, making all kinds of noises. And I put these things in the same way every time. I grease them up properly like that's supposed to be done. And this thing's squealing, making all kinds of noises. So thank God to LMR. They actually gave me a refund on that, which is something I wouldn't think they'd give me a refund on. But they gave me a refund, and I hopped on eBay, and I was looking up some old stamped Ford throwout bearings, some Ford racing ones, because it seemed like I never had a problem with the Ford racing ones, the old ones. So I found like a 2015 stamped one, put it in the car. What do you know? It's been great ever since. I don't know if they just don't make these new parts that they used to, or what's the deal, but like I said, I'm going to try and enjoy the car. I'm going to try to get some street content on the channel, whether it's dig racing, roll racing, whatever. I know some of you guys want to see what this thing compares to some of the newer cars. My local dig spot, it's either hit or miss with cops or with people actually just showing up in general. So we'll see what happens. I know the nice cooler months coming up of October, so I know a lot of people are out there doing stuff. I do got the work boots all mounted up, so I'm ready to party. So I'll try to get some stuff filmed before the car season in New England is over. So now what's next with the car? So I did want to build the 4.6. I had plans on doing so. I've seen some badass 4.6 builds out there. It is cool, but after just doing the math with the parts and how much the machine work would be to build a badass bottom end for the car, I just think the plain and simple way to go is the Coyote. Those motors do just perform as little as just a crank sprocket, some oil pump gears, and some boosts. Those cars rip. So that is the plan. The only thing is this platform, this car specifically, I've had this car for 7 years now, maybe almost 8 now. I've had it since high school. I've got it as a bone stock 2-valve. And I used to drive it in the snow, believe it or not. So I had this car maybe 3 years in the wintertime. And she's been through a long life with me. So it's played its toll. It's I'm in Rhode Island, and as most of you know, all these cars pretty much need lower frame rails right below the strut towers. So this one does need that. It needs some spots in the floor. And this quarter right here needs a new quarter. It's starting to rust out. It's got spots in the trunk pan. So I don't got all the time in the world. That is definitely something that I could do, but I just think it's better to start with a cleaner chassis. So that is what I did. I ended up coming across this car. It's a 2000 Saleen. It is not a real one. It is a clone car, but it is a very good clone car. It's got the plaques to match. It's got the one under the cowl. Matches the one in the shifter bezel. I'm not sure, and it does have all the correct body panels. I'm not sure if somebody had a wrecked one of these and tried to make a replica of that car, but it does have everything. It has like the cluster, it has the Saleen ECU, has it has like this supercharged door sill. It's really got everything to be a real car. I will show you the interior. Grab a light. There's no seats in it right now, but it's got the cluster, it's got the pedals down there, it's got the gauges, the boost and the intercooler temperature. That's the plaque, matches the one under the cowl or under the hood. So yeah, it's got pretty much everything to be there. It is missing one piece in the body. I don't know if anyone saw it, but I do have those to complete the look. Honestly, if you didn't know, you would not know. The only way you could tell is by the VIN. Visually, this car does look like a real one. It does have a OEM Terminator hood as well on it, which is probably something I'd change. I don't know if you guys know, but if you put one of these OEM Terminator hoods on, let's say, a GT car, there's going to be this little gap between the bumper and the hood, and that's what's happening here. So it kind of really bothers me. I don't know if I'm going to go with, I have a cowl hood. I have a 4-inch cowl hood I was supposed to put in the 2-valve. I don't know if I'm going to put that on here or if I'm just going to get one of those Cervini's Terminator hoods, because that gap kind of bothers me. But yeah, so this is a new build for the channel. This car also has an Auburn Pro 31 spline diff, which I've heard good things about. It's got the axle tubes already welded up. It's got strange 31 spline axles. It's got the extended studs. It's also got 390 gears in it. So that should hopefully be enough for what I need it to do. This chassis is very clean. Here's the rear support. This car is super clean underneath, so it is a great chassis to build off of, and the body is in nice shape as well. There's some paint imperfections here and there, but that's something I'll address in the future. But visually right now it looks great. So like I said with this car, that's what we're doing with that car. We're gonna put a Coyote in it. So I do have a 2011 Gen 1 motor. This is a potential motor I'll put in this one. So my plan down the road is to boost this car. For right now, it's going to be NA. I want to enjoy NA. These cars, I've seen swapped cars do great times in the track NA. So I do want to enjoy it. But I do want to plan for when this car does get boost. So I've heard, I don't know, I just seen online that these Gen 1s are pretty safe around 600 wheel horsepower on pump gas. So maybe I want to make more than that. So I want something that can definitely handle the power. It's either rods and pistons, this motor, which I said with the 2-valve is that I don't know anyone locally around here that's very good at building these motors, and I don't want to send it out, to be honest. So rods and pistons deal is possible with this, or just sell what I have and get a Gen 2 motor. Also, a 321 is another option, but I kind of want to keep it in a reasonable budget here. I know those short blocks are like 4,500 to $5,000, and then you have to get heads, and then yeah, so it ends up adding up. I've seen those Gen 2s go for right around $5,000-6,000 with decent miles on them. Throw some oil pump gears and a crank sprocket and call it a day and make, I don't know, I've seen those Gen 2s hold up to like 700 change wheel horsepower and pump gas, and they've been great. So that is the plan with the car. So I'm gonna try to make some more videos, maybe some build videos. I do want to do the engine bay, make it look really nice. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the Scott Rod stuff or just shave this one. And then I also want to undercoat the car just to preserve it. It is clean now, but I do want to make it look all nice and new and preserve it. The goal right now, I mean, the end goal is to have a badass, supercharged, Coyote swapped new Edge. But the goal right now is to get the car in the 10s with the Coyote with a stick behind it. Just have a badass stick car, you know what I mean? So that's the goal right now. I do have a Cobra Jet intake already. When I do the NA setup, I do have an 18 ported already too. That's probably going to go on when I do the boost. But for the NA, I'm going to run the Cobra Jet. I've heard good things about those. I have some buddies locally to me that have done the swap. I have a buddy with a 97 Cobra. He's working out some bugs right now. And I have a buddy with a Fox body, and that car goes real good. So I have high hopes for this build. Maybe I'll even do some content about the Coyote swap. I know a lot of guys have done that already, but maybe I can do my own spin on it. So yeah. So I do appreciate all the guys out there that hit me up on Instagram. They're like, where the hell have you been at, man? Even though I made one video, it did do pretty well. So I am happy with that. And from here, we'll try to get some more content with the 2-valve and then the build with the Saleen. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See ya.